Nicki Minaj has made music professionally since 2004, first appearing as part of a group called the Hood Stars, which was put together by 80s R&B and production group Full Force. She was considered one of the hottest underground rappers for years, until she was eventually discovered by Lil Wayne, signing to his Young Money Entertainment in 2009. Her 2010 debut for the label Pink Friday was so highly anticipated that it recorded sales of 375,000 units in only its first week. She has gone on to set the standard for female rappers, having sold 80 million singles worldwide as a lead or featured artist and received no fewer than 10 Grammy nominations. Nicki has also appeared in several feature films, including Barbershop: The Next Cut and Ice Age: Continental Drift, and for one season served as a host on a long-running singing competition, American Idol. All of these endeavors have combined to make her not only one of the most respected artists in hip-hop, but one of the richest as well. Her current net worth is around $70 million. Born William James Adams Jr., will.i.am was discovered in the early 90s by infamous NWA rapper Eazy-E, who signed Will's group to his Ruthless Records label. A planned album was derailed by Eazy's 1995 death, leading to the formation of Will's new group, the Black Eyed Peas. The group would go on to record 6 albums, which would sell a combined total of over 75 million copies. Will has also recorded 4 successful solo albums, appeared in several Hollywood films, and found steady work as an in-demand producer. In that role, he has worked with the likes of Lady Gaga, Justin Timberlake, Michael Jackson, and many more. While the Black Eyed Peas have been largely dormant since 2010, Will's career as a solo artist and producer continues to fly high. He clocks in with a personal net worth of $75 million. The rapper known as Akon grew up in Senegal, West Africa, and the area's poverty made a strong impression on him as a young man. The son of a famous percussionist, Akon spent time between Senegal and St. Louis, Missouri, and had a hard time fitting in at school. He eventually fell in with the wrong crowd, spending 3 years in jail for Grand Theft Auto. Once released, he began making tracks in his home studio as a way to vent his emotions. But a friend saw his potential, getting a demo tape into the hands of a Universal record executive and putting Akon on a path towards stardom. His 2004 debut, Trouble, produced the single Lonely, which reached the top 5 in America and topped the charts in 3 countries. 2 more albums followed in 2006 and 2008, achieving high sales and pumping up the rapper's bank accounts. Constant touring and wise investments have also contributed to his portfolio, and Akon has also demonstrated a willingness to use his wealth to help others. In 2014, he secured a $1 billion line of credit from Chinese investors for his company Akon Lighting Africa, which has so far provided solar power to 16 million African homes. With his business holdings going strong and a new album due out soon, his portfolio looks to keep growing and growing. Currently, he's estimated to be worth about $80 million. James Todd Smith, whose moniker LL Cool J means Ladies Love Cool James, burst onto the rap scene in 1986 with his debut single I Need a Beat, released when he was only 16. He combined sparse beats and hard-hitting lyrics with a willingness to attempt rap love songs that few of his peers shared. The single I Need Love from his 1987 album Bigger and Deffer was a massive crossover hit and paved the way for LL's reign as one of the most popular mainstream rappers of the 90s. He has continued steadily releasing albums while carving out an enviable career in film and television, with a breakout role in 1999's Deep Blue Sea. He has since racked up dozens of film and television credits and hosted the Grammys 5 times, after winning a couple himself. At 49 years old, the prolific personality shows no signs of slowing down, despite being worth a cool $100 million. Kanye West needs no introduction, as he has very little trouble keeping himself constantly in the public eye. The wildly eccentric rapper and producer is almost as well known for his outlandish public statements and behavior as his music, famously stating on live television that then-President George W. Bush didn't care about black people in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and stage-crashing Taylor Swift during her win at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. But throughout it all, Kanye's music has received consistent acclaim from fans and critics for his production and lyrics, and he has also drawn attention for his elaborate stage shows. His 2014 marriage to Kim Kardashian has also helped to keep his profile high. After producing hits for artists such as Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, Beyonce, and too many more to mention, Kanye has become one of the most acclaimed producers of the 21st century, cementing his place among hip-hop's greats, not to mention his 8 highly successful solo albums. Kanye isn't likely to stop anytime soon, and his current net worth is over $105 million. Brian Williams, known to his fans as Birdman, is the co-founder, with his brother Ronald Slim Williams, of Cash Money Records, a label so influential that a total of 4 of its artists appear on this list. Among the label's early successes were Juvenile and the 13-year-old Lil Wayne, who signed to Cash Money in 1995. Birdman and Slim made up the group Big Timers, while BG, Juvenile, and Lil Wayne formed Hot Boys, whose debut album broke the label to mainstream success after attracting a distribution deal from Universal Records. Between 2001 and 2003 alone, the label sold 7 million records, and the success only continued later in the decade, when Cash Money came out on top in a bidding war for the right to sign Nicki Minaj. More of the label's hitmakers appear further down on the list, and while Birdman's career as a rapper has slowed way down, his associated artists have kept the cash rolling in. His net worth stands at about $110 million. Canadian Aubrey Drake Graham first found fame as an actor on the teen drama Degrassi: The Next Generation in the early 2000s. Not content with acting fame, he quit the series to pursue a career as a rapper after his debut mixtape dropped in 2007. His mixtapes gained him quick popularity, and signing to Young Money Entertainment, an imprint of Cash Money Records, launched his career to the next level. His 2010 debut album Thank Me Later debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts, and the rapper professionally known as Drake has had a place among hip-hop's royalty ever since. Not only has he been cited as one of the most technically gifted rappers of his generation, but he's gone on to 4 consecutive #1 albums in the US, a whopping 27 Grammy nominations, and 3 wins. Unlike many on this list, Drake isn't a producer or part-time film star, meaning that his sales and popularity alone have garnered him his insane $130 million fortune. O'Shea Jackson Sr., better known to the world as Ice Cube, is a familiar face to a whole generation of moviegoers. His filmography would make most actors green with envy, with starring turns in multiple franchises including Triple X, Are We There Yet?, Barbershop, Friday, and the Ride-Along series of films. His career as an actor alone has made him a rich man. But of course, his career in entertainment began when he was in his teens, as a songwriter for Eazy-E's Ruthless Records. This led to stardom as the lead rapper for the world's most dangerous group, NWA, and a successful solo rap career spanning an incredible 9 albums, with a 10th on the way. Cube was portrayed by his son O'Shea Jackson Jr. in the 2016 NWA biopic Straight Outta Compton, and most recently appeared with Charlie Day in the 2017 comedy Fist Fight. With both of his distinguished careers still in full swing, Ice Cube's net worth of $140 million is likely to keep growing and growing. When former NWA rapper and producer Dr. Dre left Ruthless to start his own label, he debuted his new sound with the single Deep Cover, the theme song to the 1992 film of the same name. That track introduced 19-year-old Calvin Brodus, a lanky, drawling MC with the unlikely handle Snoop Doggy Dogg, to the world, and the world quickly decided it wanted to see more. Snoop's featured role on Dre's masterpiece The Chronic later that year would catapult him to fame, with a startling quickness that few rappers before or since have enjoyed. Snoop's influential 1993 solo debut Doggy Style, produced by Dre, debuted at #1 and sold nearly 1 million units in its first week, eventually recording an astonishing 11 million units sold. 13 more solo albums have followed in the years since, and Snoop has also kept himself busy with a ton of film and television appearances, and as the head coach of John A. Rowland High School's football team. The beloved and famously laid-back rapper helped change the direction of the genre forever, and he has a $143 million fortune to prove it. As mentioned previously, the career of Dwayne Carter Jr., professionally known as Lil Wayne, began when he was only 13 years old. His platinum-selling debut The Block Is Hot helped to cement Cash Money Records as a dominant force in hip-hop, and later solo releases helped Wayne to explode in popularity in the mid-2000s. In 2008, his release The Carter 3 posted first-week sales of over 1 million units, eventually selling nearly 3 million copies, and winning the Grammy for Best Rap Album. The famously eccentric rapper has recorded 13 solo albums, including the 2010 rock album Rebirth, and has guested on too many hit singles to count. Like Drake, Wayne is purely an artist, and doesn't dabble in producing or seeking Hollywood stardom. His dizzying record sales and sold-out tours have been enough for him to accumulate an impressive $150 million fortune. Marshall Mathers, the MC known as Eminem, is flat out the best-selling rapper of all time, and is also widely considered to be among the greatest. His knack for clever rhymes and wordplay is without equal, as is his knack for over-the-top profanity and vulgarity. In the US, he has had no fewer than 10 #1 albums, with sales of over 45 million units, and he's won a mind-boggling 15 Grammys. As if this weren't enough, he's also the only artist on this list to win an Academy Award for Best Song, his hit Lose Yourself from the semi-autobiographical film 8 Mile. With all of this under his belt, M has been slowing down a bit in recent years, but he announced in October 2016 that he's working on a new album. Not that he has anything left to prove. The self-proclaimed rap god is revered by his peers, still beloved by his millions of fans at the ripe old age of 44, and is worth an astounding $230 million. The career of Percy Miller, also known as Master P, began in 1991 in rather humble fashion. Miller sold copies of his debut album Get Away Clean out of the trunk of his car, but from those beginnings would spring a rap empire that rivaled Cash Money Records throughout the 90s. Master P released his recordings on his own label, No Limit Records. His 1997 breakthrough album Ghetto D and its hit single Make 'Em Say launched him to fame along with his No Limit cohorts C Murder and Silk the Shocker. More successful releases followed, and P, also a huge sports fan, began to branch out into sports management and athletic gear. However, No Limit's popularity declined in the early 2000s, and the label went bankrupt in 2003. P sold the label's catalog, but has since re-established the label as No Limit Forever Records. While his label may have suffered from poor management, P's finances have held up just fine. He currently runs his record label and several charitable organizations, and has a personal net worth of $350 million. Sean Carter, or Jay-Z to his millions of fans, made an instant splash in the world of rap with his 1996 debut Reasonable Doubt, released on his own label Rockefeller Records. He would go on to achieve a class of his own, becoming a huge international star and releasing multiple albums that are considered landmarks of their genre. Since 2008, he has been married to Beyoncé Knowles, one of the biggest pop stars in the world, and in 2006 he was named by Rolling Stone magazine as the greatest rapper of all time. Jay's achievements speak for themselves. He has sold over 55 million albums worldwide, and his 13 #1 albums are the most ever for a solo artist of any kind. He has also expanded into fashion with his Rockaware clothing line, and is a certified NBA and Major League Baseball agent with his own agency, Rock Nation Sports. Although he is largely retired from music, his business savvy is nearly as legendary as his rap career. Jay-Z's personal net worth currently stands at $610 million. Andre Young began his music career as a member of dance pop outfit World Class Wreckin' Crew, before being recruited by Eazy-E to become the house producer for Ruthless Records. This, of course, led to a run that would see Dre become one of the most respected producers in all of popular music. While Dre was known to rap often, he famously never wrote any of his own lyrics and preferred to let the other artists on his recordings shine. Fortunately, he consistently displayed an uncanny knack for spotting talent. As previously mentioned, he discovered Snoop Dogg and produced the game-changing Doggy Style. Only a few years later, he signed Eminem and would go on to a long and fruitful partnership with him. In 2008, Dre also founded the popular electronics brand Beats by Dre, now known as Beats, which was sold to Apple in 2014 for $3 billion. Dre's innovative musical style and incredible business acumen have helped to make him one of the richest men in hip-hop. He's worth an amazing $710 million. In the early 1990s, young Sean Combs was a talent director at small label Uptown Records, helping to develop R&B acts Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. After being fired from that label, he started his own, known as Bad Boy Entertainment, and brought with him a young unknown who went by the name of Biggie Smalls. After a quick name change, the 1994 debut by the notorious B.I.G., Ready to Die, was released on Bad Boy and hit the hip-hop landscape like a nuclear bomb. The follow-up, released shortly after Biggie's 1997 murder, was titled Life After Death and performed even better. But later that same year, Combs, now going by the name Puff Daddy, released his solo debut No Way Out and immediately ascended to pop stardom. Nearly as many name changes as blockbuster albums followed throughout the 2000s, including the platinum The Saga Continues under the name P. Diddy and the gold Press Play, at which point it was simply Diddy. Like Jay-Z, Combs has also branched out into fashion with his successful Sean John clothing line and is an investor in several successful companies. He's appeared in films, including a well-received turn in the 2000 drama Monsters Ball, owned restaurants, designed a jersey for the Dallas Mavericks. You name it, he's done it. Fortune and Forbes magazine have both noted his skill as an entrepreneur, and he's got the bank account to back it up. The richest man in hip-hop, Sean Diddy Combs, is worth $750 million. Yes, that's $750 million.